Ayo, what is good, people? Just Science back with part 3 of this Reason 11 updates video. If you've watched the last 2 videos, you know exactly what we're up to. If you just stumbled on this video, we have been going over some of the new features in Reason 11. In the first video, we covered the new effect modules, the ensemble, and the sweeper effect. In the last video, we went over the multi-note drawing capability in the pencil tool and also the smart grid functions in the sequencer. This video is going to be about the new function to draw curves in your automation lanes as well as crossfades in your audio tracks. If you're new to this channel, I do mostly music production tutorials with a bit of filmmaking and design as well. If you want to see some more stuff like that, click subscribe below, hit that bell if you want to know when I post, and give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. So without further ado, let's jump into the timeline. If you watched the last couple videos, you know exactly what we're dealing with, but if you're new to the series, in this video, this is just a little bit of a beat vibe that I threw together while I was playing around with Reason 11 for the first time, and it sounds like this. Okay, nothing too crazy, but that's what we're dealing with for this tutorial. So for this tutorial, I want to focus on this piano electric soul track down here. And we will actually increase the size of that track, which is, again, if you watched the last video, one of the new functions in Reason 11 to actually increase the height of individual tracks separately from the whole stack. And if I solo this out and just play the loop, okay, so I'm going to automate the pan and the volume of this track. Nothing too crazy, really simple, but just to show you how we can now draw curves in automation lanes, I'm going to option click on the volume as well as the pan, and you see I get 2 new lanes of automation here. I can close my rack down to get a little bit more visual space, but I'm going to go in with my pencil tool and draw in lanes for each of those 2 new automations. And now click inside this lane. This is my level. So what I want this to do is start off at the top and then kind of drop down a bit before rising back up to that same volume for the next note. And I'm going to do the same thing for the second note, just drawing in those values. I'm hitting Command on my keyboard to shift between the pencil tool and the selection tool. So you can jump back and forth there and do whatever you need to. The thing is that I'm drawing new automation points with the pencil, and then I actually need the selection tool to grab those lines in between and add curves to them. So again, Command changes me now to, if I hover over that line, you'll see my double arrow with a curved line. I can click and now drag this around. Maybe I want this note to be a little bit further over, and now on this I'm going to drag this line down. I'll do the same thing for the other note, and let's play this loop and see what we get. Okay, so that volume fade at the beginning is not drastic enough. What I'm going to do is shift and select both of those values and move them back in the sequencer. And maybe I need that volume fade to be even more drastic to really hear it. So I will grab both of those and bring them down. Okay, that was a little bit too drastic, but now you can hear that volume fade happening and how it's gradually rolling off. Let's tweak these a little bit and make them more pleasing. Okay, and then maybe these top 2 values where the notes come back up to full volume, I want those to start a little bit earlier so that the end of the first note rises up into the beginning of the second note. Okay, so we can hear the gradual fade of that. I can get a lot more complicated with this, but I am not going to for this demo. You can see it's a really nice feature that's been added. What I want to do now is change some of that panning around. So I'm going to go down to this second automation lane, double click in there, and let's start drawing a few points between our left and right channels. Just kind of a little bit random. And now we will again click the command key and start changing some of these linear moves into curved automations. And we'll listen back to that. So pretty quickly, I was able to add a lot of movement to that sound. So if we play that back with the rest of the mix, it's going to become really nice ear candy and kind of float between the two left and right stereo channels and kind of pop up and down in volume out of the rest of the mix. Let's check that out and see what it sounds like. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do here, even though we don't really need it, is show off the crossfade functionality. And if I click one of these audio samples that we're working with and drag it so it overlaps with the one in front of it, again, I will solo this out so we can kind of hear it. And with that sample selected, I'm going to hit the X key on my keyboard or come up here into the edit menu, go down to crossfade. And you'll see now here I have a crossfade in my timeline. I can click and drag here and adjust the timing curve of that crossfade. And if we play that back real quick, we might not notice too much of a difference, but here's the crossfade. Not really apparent there. You would be able to tell a lot better if we were maybe chopping up a vocal phrase or editing two different takes of a vocal together, and to be able to put those two words in the same phrase up against each other and crossfade between one take and another really smoothly. This will definitely come in handy in my larger workflow. The thing is, I won't be using it so frequently that it came up specifically in this beat. But I did want to show you guys that. Hopefully you got some value out of this. If you did and you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Click that notifications bell if you want to know when I post, and give me a thumbs up for the analytics. I will check you guys next time. Peace.